So a second update has been given by Tai Woffenden's family Saturday afternoon from his wife Faye and his mum Sue. The Woffinden family are some of the most approachable, infectiously positive and happy people the sport's ever encountered. And albeit a horrible situation, it's been wonderful to see so many people sending their love and well wishes to the family at a time in which they're obviously going to be plagued with worry. Faye released this statement on Saturday the 4th of April at 6 p.m. Our brave boy is here with us, fighting, healing and resting. Tai has been through more than we can even begin to imagine. Multiple broken bones, major surgeries, blood transfusions. His body has endured so much. His spirit stays strong. So does our hope. We're holding on tightly, believing that each day will bring more healing, more strength and more of him back to us. Anyone who knows Tai knows how open, honest and full of life he is, and when he's ready he'll share his story in his own way. But right now, the only job is to rest and heal and to find strength to get through this. The love, kindness and support we're receiving from you all has been overwhelming in the most beautiful way. There truly aren't the words to express how deeply grateful we are. The statement goes on to name a number of doctors, surgeons and professionals that have contributed towards Tai's medical care, as well as thanking everybody for their kind well wishes and that have, quote, carried the family through the darkest of moments. Both statements have been beautifully written by the family, acknowledging the love sent from the fans and updating us as much as they feel comfortable to do so. I haven't wanted to cover the accident in my videos due to having such an unfathomable amount of respect for Tai and his family, but I will cover the official updates, respectfully staying away from speculation. Breaking down the statement, I think there's two things to take away from here. The first being that our brave boy is with us. So I think that means that Tai could have been brought back to consciousness from his medically induced coma. Again, I've said I'm not going into speculation. I'm just going into what has been said in the statement. And the other thing that I pulled out of this was, while we hesitate to name individuals for the fear of missing anyone, we want to extend our deepest thanks to those who played a part in saving Tai, which is the other thing I took out of the statement, was that Tai's injuries were life-threatening. I'm sending the biggest amount of love possible from myself, Alice, and the few people here that helped me with the channel. If Tai, Faye, the family or friends are watching, you are all in our thoughts. Get well soon, mate. So it was revealed this week that the winner of the British Championship on Monday the 12th of May will be awarded not just one, but both of the British Grand Prix wildcards. Over the past few months, there has been speculation as to how the two wildcard positions will be awarded, but now we do have confirmation that we will have the same wildcard on both days in Manchester. Of course, the two favourites to win the British Championship are already in the Grand Prix series, meaning that if Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert finish on the top two steps of the rostrum, the wildcard placement will be given to the highest finishing rider who doesn't currently have a full-time World Championship position. So who are the likely contenders to be filling the number 16 spot in Manchester twice? With the triple world champion Tai Woffinden being unable to compete, this does throw an enormous opportunity to the rest of the field. And actually there is a lot of riders going into this that could win that prestigious position. There's tried and tested riders like Adam Ellis, Bomber, Steve Worrell, Danny King, Charles Wright and Tom Brennan, who have either won the British Championship before or they have come out of the event with a wild card. Then you have the likes of Anders Rowe and Dan Thompson, who have both had an absolutely monstrous start to the season in 2025. It will be a really interesting matchup of youth and experience at the National Speedway Stadium on the 12th of May. Tickets are available now on the Belle Speedway website. Birmingham number 3, Michael Jepsen Jensen has won the Ekstraliga individual competition in Lodz this week. The Ekstraliga individual is the equivalent as the Riders' Championship here in Great Britain, of which the championship version will be covered later on in this video. Michael Jepsen Jensen had to go through to the final in Grujegans. I hope I'm saying that right. I always do wonder if I'm saying that right. And he did have to get the better of the Grand Prix star Dominic Cabera. 2024 the highest Polish average, Artem Laguta, who was also 2022 world champion, and 5-time world champion Bartosz Marzlik. So a huge accolade for Michael Jepsen Jensen, and I hope he brings that confidence and form over to Birmingham here in the UK. The Sun and the fans were out in full force on Saturday in Workington for the Championship Pairs competition. The start had to be delayed ever so slightly as the fans were still queuing when the presentation was set to begin. But it is brilliant to see so many fans turning out for an event on the northern border, especially the Red Car Bears fans who attended in their masses to see the team lift the trophy for the second time on the trot. The meeting built up to be an epic showdown between the Pool Pirates and the Redcar Bears. Pool made up of new signing Louis Kerr and newly appointed captain Zach Cook, with Redcar using former British champion Charles Wright and one of the fastest riders in the country at the moment, Eric Riss. Eric Riss and Zach Cook have been passing riders for fun all night, so when the two were set to meet in the final heat of the evening, it was a mouth-watering concept. However, the event was sadly brought to a slightly anticlimactic conclusion when there was a racing incident between Pool's Louis Kerr and Redcar's Eric Riss. Now, it wouldn't be a speedway incident without social media turning into a bubbling pool of opinions, but this was one of those incidents where it probably could have been the best and fairest option to have all four back. Now, I know the rulebook does say that after the first bend, somebody has to be excluded for being the primary cause of the stoppage of the race, but this was a particularly special scenario. Let's take a quick look at the crash from both sides. From Louis' side, Eric Riss pulls a slight locker, which is like slamming on the brakes. The track has just been watered, and with such close and well-matched competitors in the final, he had nowhere to go. But does that mean that you should exclude Eric Riss? Absolutely not. Eric had cleanly and fairly passed Louis, and when he locked the bike up ever so slightly, Louis ran to the back of him. I understand that there should be repercussions for riders riding over their limits and causing accidents, but surely common sense must prevail in extenuating circumstances where all four can be allowed back. Otherwise, what does the rule suggest? Don't try and get too close or try and pass each other? If one person has clearly been the cause of the stoppage, then fair enough. But when there is a strong argument for both sides, could this rule be amended? By having to eject somebody from the heat, it pretty much decided the meeting. If the same situation happened in a league meeting where the standings were currently 42-42, there would still be something to race for, as the lone rider would be under pressure to win the heat and force the draw. But in the pairs scoring format, there was hardly any reason for Zach to even bother starting his machinery.
Wow, he could have won the race and one of the Redcar boys could have had a mechanical problem.
Yes, this is true, but the likeliness of this happening is exceptionally rare. And the last thing we want is one of the sides wanting a machine problem or an accident for a rider. That just plain sucks. Regardless, the final heat of the evening was won by the Redcar Bears, and both their boys did great, and it made fantastic viewing to see the Redcar fans enjoying it, especially as so many had made the trip to being in attendance. Congratulations to Redcar, Charles Wright and Eric Riss as well. On Sunday, we had the Championship League Riders Championship.
Huh?
Don't ask me, I have absolutely no idea who decided on that name. I personally think it should have been something a little bit easier off the tongue, like the Championship Unaccompanied National Trophy, perhaps? Anyway, the sun was out once again as the BSN team travelled down to the Eddie Wright Raceway in Scunthorpe to bring us the second afternoon on the bounce of championship action. And this was the season debut of the Sacred Swing. This was probably the best streamed meeting that I've seen so far this year. The track was absolutely spot on, and it made for some great racing throughout the afternoon. It was great to see Steve Worrell back to his best after having health issues in 2024, and a thoroughly deserved bronze medal for Steve, who was looking almost unstoppable in the qualification heats. But of course, if there's anybody that knows how to win trophies in Great Britain, nobody does it better than Bomber.
Yeah, boy.
It felt like we had playoff Bomber in the first month of the season. The competition ended with both Glasgow riders getting a 1-2 in the final, showing just how much strength Glasgow have amongst the heat leaders in 2025. Something else I want to go bringing you every single week if I can is where to watch Speedway this week. So Monday we have Bellevue versus King's Lynn. This week will also be the first week of Bellevue's new streaming service, which can be found on their website, and Birmingham versus Ipswich. The Birmingham meeting will be broadcast on BSN as part of your subscription. Wednesday we have Oxford versus Scunthorpe, which is live on the Oxford website. You can buy the live stream on there if you're unable to attend Sandy Lane in person. On Thursday, Ipswich versus Oxford up at Vauxhall. Also on Thursday we have Leicester versus Bellevue, which is on Lions TV, and Sheffield versus Kings Lynn, which is on BSN. I keep mentioning BSN because we have had the pairs, the Championship Riders League Championship, however they say that now, on Sunday. We actually get 4 meetings with the BSN subscription in 6 days this week, which is pretty good going, so big up to BSN. Glasgow versus Edinburgh on Friday for the second leg of the Scottish Cup. Then you have Redcar versus Newcastle Select on Friday, which is being broadcast on Bears TV as well if you can't make it and can't attend the meeting in person. You also have Edinburgh versus Middlesbrough on the Saturday in the 3rd Division, and Kent versus Leicester on Sunday in the 3rd Division. This will be Kent's first meeting since being back in the professional ranks of British Speedway. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. This week has been a bit of an effort for me to get this video out because I've had to deal with the pollen bomb here in Wiltshire. I slipped up quite a few times and struggled to record the update with a streaming nose. But it means so much to me to see so many of you clicking the thumbs up and subscribe button. The difference it makes to the growth of the channel is absolutely crazy. If you have a subject that you'd like me to cover or do a video on, please mention it in the comment section below and I'll do my best. I hope you found the video somewhat informative or enjoyable. I'm still very new to being a content creator. Enjoy the week ahead and I'll see you guys in the next one.